what do you do when the easiest option is not necessarily the right option? When it would be quicker to stay quiet, easier to go along with it, less uncomfortable to avoid the conversation, less risky to just keep the peace, but deep down, you know something needs to be said. You know something isn't right. You also know your leadership is being tested, because integrity in leadership isn't tested when things are easy. It's tested when standing firm costs you something. And today we're talking about how to lead with integrity, especially in those moments where it would be easier to just not lead with integrity. So let's jump in.
Do you wish that you could lead your team in a way that honors and glorifies God? Are you struggling to overcome self-doubt as a leader and have a desire to be more confident in your role? Welcome to the Woman of Faith in Leadership podcast. I'm Rika, and for the last decade, I've experienced my fair share of managing challenging employees and teams in middle management leadership roles. I committed my leadership journey to God, and it changed everything. And I'm ready to share everything I've learned with you. Now, if you're ready to lead your team in a way that honors God, grab that notebook and pen, and don't forget your chai latte, and let's dive in.
Now, before we go any deeper, if you've ever found yourself hesitating in those moments because you weren't sure what to say, I want to point out the difficult conversation script back, because integrity often requires conversation. And one of the biggest reasons leaders don't act is simply because they don't feel prepared for that conversation. This pack gives you clear, practical language so that you can stand firm with calm, Christ-like authority. You can find it at womanoffaithinleadership.com/conversation. Now, here's what most Christian women in leadership experience, but don't always talk about it. You don't struggle with integrity because you lack values. You struggle in the moment when those values are tested, because those moments come with pressure to keep people happy, avoid conflict, protect relationships, maintain harmony, not to be misunderstood, not to be seen as being too much or a burden. And suddenly the tension isn't just external, it becomes actually very much internal. You're thinking, is this worth addressing? Am I overreacting? What if I make this worse? What if this damages my relationships? And so instead of acting, you actually delay, or you soften, or you stay quiet. Not because you don't care, but because it feels too costly to speak up. But here's the truth. Integrity is rarely tested in comfort. It's revealed in pressure. And those moments, they're not interruptions to your leadership. They are leadership. They are your leadership moments. Let's walk through 4 ways that you can stand firm in integrity, even when it feels uncomfortable. Now, before we dive into those 4 ways, I want to say that integrity is doing the right thing all the time, whether somebody's looking or not. So you'll have multiple opportunities throughout your day to do the right thing, whether somebody's looking or not. And so it becomes easier for us to do the right thing when there are people around, and when there are moments of pressure, because we always do the right thing, even if there's not people around us, even in the not so pressured moments. So that's why it's important to always do the right thing. Have your conscience clear by God rather than by anybody else. So number 1 is decide your standards before pressure hits. The hardest time to choose integrity is when there's a moment of pressure. That's why wise leaders decide in advance, what do I stand for? What will I not tolerate? And what matters most in my leadership? Because when your standards are clear beforehand, and like I mentioned, you practice them whether somebody's looking or not, your decisions become clearer in the moment of pressure. Integrity becomes a decision you've already made, not one you're scrambling to figure out. Number 2, recognize that avoidance has a cost as well. You think it's too costly to say something or to speak up, but avoidance of the thing is also very costly. Avoidance feels easier in the moment, but it also carries a cost. It can cost you trust, clarity, culture, your credibility, and your peace every time something is left unaddressed. It doesn't disappear, it actually compounds. And often, what you avoid today becomes a bigger issue tomorrow. Number 3, speak with clarity, not emotion. Integrity doesn't require intensity, it requires clarity. You don't need to raise your voice, over-explain, justify yourself, or become defensive. You simply need to say what is true with calm authority. For example, this is something we need to address, or this behavior isn't aligned with our expectations, or moving forward, this needs to change. Clarity honors both truth and relationships. Number 4, trust God with the outcome. This is the part that requires your faith, because sometimes the hesitation to act isn't about the conversation, it's actually about the outcome. What if they react badly? What if this creates tension? What if this affects my relationship? You cannot be afraid of conflict. You cannot be afraid of conflict in your leadership role, because leadership requires trust. You are responsible for leading with wisdom, speaking with integrity, and acting with clarity. You are not responsible for controlling how others respond. And I've said this multiple times on the show. Their reaction is on them, not on you. But you know that you've done the right thing. And by doing the right thing, you are honoring God in your obedience. You're not managing every single outcome because you simply cannot. Okay, so let me quickly recap those 4. Decide your standards before the pressure hits. Number 2, recognize that avoidance has a cost too. Number 3, speak with clarity, not emotion. And number 4, trust God with the outcome. Do not get involved in the outcome. We don't always need to be involved, okay? So if this episode is bringing to mind a situation that you've actually been avoiding, a conversation you know you need to have, but you're unsure how to approach it, the Difficult Conversation Script Pack will help you. This will give you clear, practical language, calm, confident phrasing, and structure for handling difficult moments with integrity. So you can stop relying and start leading. So you can stop delaying and start leading with clarity. Go to womenoffaithinleadership.com/conversation and take the next step with confidence. Now, in closing, I'd like to say that integrity will cost you something, but so will avoiding it. And only one of those leads to peace. You are not called to lead comfortably. You are called to lead faithfully, to stand firm, to speak the truth, and to honor God in your leadership, even when it's difficult. You are stronger than you think. You are more equipped than you realize. And God is with you in every single moment that requires courage. So trust in Him, rest in Him, and may you have an amazing week. And I look forward to chatting with you again in the next episode. Bye. Hey, I hope you enjoyed today's episode. If so, would you take 30 seconds and leave me a 5-star written review on Apple Podcasts? It would mean so much to me to read your feedback. Also, it would really bless me big if you shared this episode with a fellow leader who might benefit from hearing today's message. And remember, put on the armor of God daily and walk by faith and not by sight. I'll meet you back on Monday for another episode.